This series, guys, this show right here is destroying me emotionally. And it's not too often that a series can actually do that. This week's episode was outstanding. It was heartbreaking. It was action-packed. It was so intense and unexpected, and by the end of the episode, I was in tears, and I was angry, and I was excited at the same time, and I didn't expect that type of emotional response from this type of series. I just thought this was just going to be a fun, sort of generic, having fun action series, and just, God, the things they did this week, guys. I honestly wish this was an episode that I would have done a live reaction to, because it would have just... You guys would have seen another side of me that you've never seen before. The whole episode I was gasping, you know, and obviously if you have not seen the episode, massive spoiler alerts. I shouldn't have to say that. This is my review of the episode. But, you know, it opened up with a really intense scene with Bols, who just created this massive explosion, which was literally almost like an atomic bomb going off. There was like a mushroom cloud in the sky. It was so ridiculous. And somehow he actually managed to escape and get away. And I was actually kind of relieved by this, until he ran into this little girl in the woods who had an injured leg. And Bols, being the guy that he is, decides to help her out. You immediately realize that something really bad is about to go down. And this is also when they finally give us a little more characterization and backstory for the character of Bols. They reveal why he doesn't want to take off his mask, and they almost show his face. They just show the back of his hair. He's a blonde, and apparently he probably just looks normal aside from a few scars or burns. And then you see a group shot with him and the Jaegers, and they're all eating and having a good time. And it's at that moment when suddenly the little girl transforms into Chelsea and kills Bols with a stab to the neck from one of her needles. And the scene ends with him crawling towards the ghostly apparitions of his daughter and wife. And it was heartbreaking. I couldn't believe it. It's one of those moments where you're like, God, you don't even know who to root for in this show. And it gets even worse because as soon as this scene is done, Chelsea decides that she's going to be the one who's going to kill Kuromi. She transforms herself into Bols and is going to try and find her and kill her. And eventually she does find Kuromi. And it gets to this scene where Kuromi is having these like weird withdrawal symptoms, and she has to eat these weird like little cookies and stuff to make herself not feel bad, her snacks. And she seems to be like the mayor of Strugglesville when she suddenly just falls over and is about to collapse. And Chelsea as Bols is trying to comfort her and is going to say this charm. And then he just ends up stabbing Kuromi in the neck, transforms back into Chelsea. And I thought this was the end of the scene, and I was shocked. I was like, there's no way they're going to kill Kuromi this early in the series. And the minute you finally start to see Chelsea walking away, and it's real slow-mo, you know in just a matter of seconds, Kuromi's just going to get up. And she gets up, and she is freaky as hell. It almost seems like the weird drugs that she's been taking have sort of almost created another personality within her. Almost like a demonic aura, if you will. And she sends her puppets to go after Chelsea. She gives them the orders to essentially slaughter and slice and dice her up. And there's a scene where she finally runs into this flower field where suddenly she's shot, her arm is cut off, and then she is finished off by Natala. The scene is hauntingly beautiful because of the flowers, but it's also just so disturbing and upsetting, and it's just... Chelsea's like the newest member of the team next to Susanoo, and I don't know. I'm still trying to get over the death of both Shile and Bulat, and we're already at the death of another member. And it really caught me by surprise how brutal it was. They were really not holding back on it at all. I mean, just shot, arm cut off, and then beheaded. And then the end of the episode has one of the most intensely disturbing and horrifically sad scenes that I've seen from an anime series. When Night Raid is frustratingly trying to find Chelsea, you have Tatsumi, who is running through the streets of the capital while it's raining, using his Incursio armor and being invisible, when suddenly he notices there's a large crowd of people hanging around this massive spike. And right at the top of it is Chelsea's severed head. End of the episode. What's the rundown on this week's episode of Akame ga Kill? This show is messing with my mind! It's really messing with me, and my God, it does not hold back on any of the disturbing, messed up stuff in the world of Akame Got Killed. Just the backstory we got from Chelsea, where she was working with that one guy who was wanting to hunt human beings, and how she eventually found her actual Imperial Arms weapon and used that to liberate the people from where she worked. And it's so weird because, like, you know, the ends... You can say that the ends justify the means, but I mean, just murder is murder, you know? It doesn't really solve anything. It's this endless cycle of just killing each other in the most violent ways possible. But Kuromi and her puppets took it to this really disturbing new level when they decided to make an example of Chelsea by putting her head on a freaking pike in the middle of the city. It's already been shown that the capital does public executions, and they've already emphasized how evil and corrupt they are. But after this week's episode, it's insane. And yet, the Jaegers are still not really bad guys. Like, they have their sense of justice. They feel that what they're doing is right. And they're effectively fighting against a group of assassins. And it's just, there's no black and white in this show whatsoever. The emotion ran really high. And they did a really good job of sort of bookending this week's episode with the really serious, intense stuff in the beginning with Bols, which... I don't want to forget about Bols. After all the Chelsea stuff, you know, you're already emotionally drained. But they did a great job because in the middle of the episode, there's a funny scene with Night Raid all coming together. And we actually find out that Leone can actually heal her arm. And that's pretty cool because I thought maybe she was going to get like a Full Metal Alchemist arm or something. Or maybe like some automail, something around that line. But no, her and Lubbock is going to be able to, like, heal the arm. He can, like, sew it back on, and because of her regenerating abilities, everything's going to be fine. The scene is really funny, though, because Najenda just has to one-up her by saying that Susanoo's abilities heal in an instant. But that's just good, because right after that, things just get so intense. And the scene where Chelsea is walking with Kuromi is just, you're just waiting for it to happen, and you don't know if it's going to work out. And there were definitely flags for the fact that Chelsea was going to die, but... After she, like, started to run away, I figured maybe she'd be able to get with the group, but no. The two puppets that went after her just straight up fucked her up. That's the only way I can put it. And just, she never got to have another moment with Tatsumi, and she was clearly being influenced by him and fell in love with him. It really broke me down. And the minute you saw those people gathered in the crowd at the end, you immediately knew. And that slow pan upwards, like, my first thought is, she's up there, isn't she? She's up there, isn't she? It's her head. Holy shit. And then I didn't put my head up throughout the entire credits. I had to, like, let it go and just realize that there's a lot more to this show, and I think they're doing a really good job with it. A lot of people rag on the show because they think it's overly generic and that its message is a little too simple. But honestly, I'm getting a lot out of it. I think this is one of the most emotionally driven series that I've seen in a long time, and I actually think it's one of the genuine hits of 2014, which, if you're into anime in any sense or fashion, I think at this point you really just need to sit down and watch Akame Got Kill. And I know that people have been telling me that it's catching up to the manga oh so soon, but I really hope they sort of go with the whole Attack on Titan route, where eventually we will get to a second season, because... I'm loving this. I'm really loving the story. I'm just adored by the characters at this point. And even if they don't continue with the anime version, I'm going to start picking up the manga series. This is a show that's just really becoming one of my absolute favorites, and it just continuously gets better. There's never been, like, any downtime for this series. It's just constantly going up the hill, and it doesn't look like it's going to go down anytime soon. So... this week's episode was great. It was hauntingly beautiful. The music cues were absolutely amazing. What few action scenes there were really good and absolutely brutal. And this is an episode that also proves that the characters are really carrying this entire series. So check out Akame Got Kill. It is an anime series that is definitely worth your time. I'm giving this week's episode a 5 out of 5. This is Akame Got Kill at its strongest, using its characters to really mess with the viewers' heads. Everything worked this week. Check it out, guys. Awesome series. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up and like the video. Please tell me what you guys thought about this week's episode of Akame Got Kill in the comments section below. Were you shocked about the deaths of Bols and Chelsea? How did this episode affect you, and what do you want to see from the future of the Akame Got Kill anime series? Before you guys leave, please subscribe to our channel. You can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You guys can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.